For this card, what we're going to do is we're going to take our card base and we are going to be cutting some of this off in the beginning. So we're going to open it up and I'm going to place this hinge or score mark at the 3 inches. So I want to place that in. There's the score line, there's the 3 inches. I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so we're going to cut that off, and what we're going to do is we're going to look for our designer series paper. Now we need to get some designer series paper, and I've chosen this one, and we're going to cut it to 4 inches by 2 3/4, and we're going to glue that on the front. So 4 inches by 2 3/4 on this one. Be careful of its directional, and you're going to want to place that on the front. You're going to get another piece of designer series paper, and I chose this one with the wood grain because I think it's a little bit more muted for the card for the inside. And you're going to cut that to 4 inches, 4 by 5 1/4, and you're going to glue that on the inside. So when your card is completed so far, it will look like this. So there's the wood grain on the inside, 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's glued down, and on the front it is 4 inches by 2 3/4. So that is, we're going to be gluing that down. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we are going to stamp some images. I'm going to be using the bow, and I need 2 of those. So I'm going to use my Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp one bow. I'm going to stamp the other one. We will be coloring this in with Stampin' Blends in a little bit. Okay, put that off to the side. I'm going to get another piece of basic white, and I'm going to be using the single bird. I want to use the single bird. I'm going to stamp him, place him on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our dies, and we're going to cut out the bows and the little birds. So let's line him up on there. We'll cut him out. I don't know about you, but I find it just so much easier when I use a little Post-it note to hold them in place. And I will be cutting these both out. Just be careful when you lay the die down that you get all of the image in there and you're not cutting some of it off. And let's begin by coloring these in. Now that we have all of these images colored in, what we're going to do is we're going to add them to our card base that we have in there. Let's bring that back in and start laying them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one of these on the top here like that, and the other one is going to be on the inside piece. I'm going to glue that down. And have it so it goes along the corner there. For this one on the front, what I'm going to do is actually place it on dimensionals. There we go. Place it on the top there. Let's get our little bird. Oops. Place him on here. Before I place him, I want to place a little sentiment. So let's get a little scrap and see what we can place on there. I'm going to do the little thinking of you, and I'm going to stamp it in Memento Black. Oops, that was a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. What I want to do is I'm actually going to span it right across this piece. So that piece was, let's go back, I got to take a look, 2 3/4. So what I'm going to do is have to cut that down to 2 3/4, and I'm going to try and do it as best as I can, evening the sentiment in the center. Oh, look at that. Can't quite get them in the center, but let's see how it goes. 2 3/4. So apparently I can do it. All right, 2 3/4. I was doing 3 3/4. So 2 3/4. Let's get that in the center as best that we can. So 2 3/4 is that piece of white. Oops, little birdie. Span that across right there. I'm going to glue that down. Now, if you used a piece of DSP that is not as busy as this one that I'm using, you probably could have stamped right on the DSP itself. But I wanted the sentiment to stand out. Let's get our little bird and add him on. And I'll put him on top, just like that. And there's the card. Oh my gosh, that is just so darn cute. Here we go. That is very cute.